He's such a fat dickbag. Yeah, dude. It's like Stand By Me, and I'm Corey Feldman, and I'm screaming my father stormed the beaches of Normandy. No, you listen, you fat piece of shit. I can go down to the library. I grew up. I grew up with a Vietnam veteran, you piece of shit. Okay, my father was in the Big Red One. I can't remember if he was 71st or 72nd Infantry, but it was First Division of the Big Red One, and I'm interested in my father, because I've been here for fucking 10 years. I could go down to the Troy Library and see what the fuck they got on it. I mean, do you think I'm bragging, piece of shit? What'd your father do? What do you fucking? Are you even what? Where was your father? Were you even old enough for your father to be a sergeant major? My father did 5 years over there. He did 5 tours. It was kind of a big part of my life. What did he have flash? Tell us about the flashbacks and shit. It wasn't like that. It was just a big part of his life. It's the war that never happened. And you Desert Storm motherfuckers and you Gulf Crisis motherfuckers are gonna go through the same thing. But here's your cup of coffee. Here's your check. Here's your fucking pretty much. Here's your fucking food stamps. Here's your pay. Good luck with your life. This never happened. I'm interested in it because I grew up that way, you fat bald piece of shit. I'm not trying to entertain like I'm sitting out here in an audience and we're Stand By Me and we're on the beach together. We're going to find Ray Brower's fucking body. I'm bored. I want to hear shit. I was listening to I was listening I was listening to the gospel of that old gospel the old gospel recording of In His Own Clothes. And and he refers to the book of Mark. He refers to Isaiah, and he in his own poetic way, he was referring to how lyrical Isaiah was, and it got me thinking about the religious connotations of the Big Red One. The Big Red One goes back, I think, to the Civil War, and it's just that's where every mother's son goes. You're groomed for that. My father was in military school just waiting for the day he turned 18 to go from military school over there. And he did 5 motherfucking years over there. I wasn't even born yet, you piece of shit, but it was a big part of his life. My father was a silent man. He didn't talk about Vietnam. His friends did. They'd come over and they were Marine, they were Army, and they would talk about it. I have vague memories of my father being the few times, the 5 or 6 times he talked when he was drunk and talked about Nam. I just remembered the Michelin trapezoid and the Warzone C in Saigon, and occasionally he'd take me into the back room and let me see his cankers and medallions and fucking badges, and I'd be like, before your fucking video games and shit like that, I'd be like, what's Big Red One? Well, it's like a big red dick, Aaron. That's what it means. Aaron, why are you so obsessed with Snoopy? Because, like, when I snuck into my father's secret inner sanctorium, sanctum sanctorum, he had his shit on the walls. What you were allowed to, or you could smuggle back into America from Vietnam. And he had pictures of, like I told you 1,000 times, pictures of Snoopy with a heart on, pictures of Snoopy with a fucking helmet on and a machine gun, saying all kinds of shit. That was part of his life. I wasn't there, you piece of shit. The one day I take out of the year to think about my father and think about the religious connotations, because there was. I mean, most of his memorabilia was all rooted in religiosity. Prayer cards, rosary beads, Big Red One, Jesus with his purple robe, and why not a robe of red? Shit like that. It has roots in that. Latin prayers, shit like that. That's what the army gave you back then. You understand that, piece of shit? I'm not. Why the fuck would I brag? What are you? My father's just. Yeah, I'm a crazy fucking guy. Just my father. I seek to know my father. You piece of shit. He was a quiet, tortured individual. He's not here anymore. Can I reflect one day a year near Christmas on my father and thinking about my father? My father was married. My father attended a gospel church, and he dedicated his new life to that. You understand that? My father was remarried in a gospel church. Shit like that. You know, I'm not going to have to fucking explain my inner mechanics and inner workings and inner thought train to you scumbags. That was not your life. That was my life. I sought out again to know my father, and he was in a black church, and that's just the type of motherfucker he was, and he had all his shit, and I could see why he gravitated towards a gospel church and got married in a gospel church and shit like that. It has nothing to do with you. It's not your fucking business. I'm trying to do private research of what's available on your fucked up, minuscule, minutia fucking YouTube. I don't need you fucking playing. It's like, fuck your fucking mother. Okay? Simple as that. I don't want to argue with little dicky men on this fucking channel. What did your father do? I mean, my father fought for this country. Well, yeah, I heard you say something about the tunnel rats. It's true. I mean, they try to paint a big picture of all the wins they got in Nam. It kind of was like that. I remember looking through my father's fucking photo albums and seeing hundreds and hundreds of dead Viet Cong, purple and black, eyes rolled up in their heads, or eyes just staring vacantly, getting ready to get thrown into a fucking... They were digging pits for them. That's what they did on their off time, was dig trenches so they could bury the bodies. It's not like the GIs that got flown back home with bags of heroin in their fucking body bags. These motherfuckers were just buried. And they were there on a twisted mission of peace, fighting alongside the North Vietnamese, and war. All out motherfucking war. You asked about World War II. I don't know about World War II. My grandfather, I don't know what the fuck he did. I don't know. It was a bad, ugly fucking war, though, especially when you were there for 5 fucking years. And the tunnel rats, yeah, they were the first, just like if you made it to be a tunnel rat, you were a child molester. After the draft stopped, after they stopped drafting, they just started scouring the prisons for child molesters, murderers, social fuck-ups, crazy people. And basically, they were employed as fucking tunnel rats to go into these tunnels and get blown to fucking bits. They took them out of prison. And yes, they did they had all kinds of psychological operations. They used to play tapes at them through big giant loudspeakers. They used to drop propaganda on them. They even dropped condoms over the fucking... because they said they were like roaches, and they told them so in the literature. You people are fucking roaches. Stop breeding. This is peanut butter Jif. This is Americana, and we're dropping. And that's what they did. It was a bad, ugly war, and it wasn't. I don't know what your fucking father did. What? If you're my age, what did your father do? He got to go to college. He was a draft dodger. Good for fucking you. All I know is my fucking life. And I want to do whatever study for 1 day a year, and you get this little prick dancing on my shit. It's like, fucking mind your business, you piece of shit. The reason why my father fucking disowned me and totally pulled a Jim Morrison, pulled a fucking Houdini, is because of scumbags like you. I can't imagine my father ever fucking doing that. But I know it must have been big for him just to drop off the face of the fucking earth and die like that and disown me before he did it. Aren't you happy, you piece of shit? What, am I supposed to sit here and look at mob shit and fucking look at your bullshit and listen to you fucking grab your dick and dance around in front of me? It's like, fuck your fucking mother, okay? You piece of shit. You want to put your hands on everything that's sacred? Fuck you. I did this all for you. And I am your Messiah. And you'll miss me when... That's what my father used to say to me. You'll miss me when I'm gone. And I was like, I don't want you gone in the first place. So give it up to the little scumbag that needs constant attention on this channel. I take 10 minutes to reflect on my father privately. And because WMHT inspired me, and he's got to be there doing his little last dance. Well, you said you wanted religious inspiration. Well, there you go. Let's go back to the book of Mark and Isaiah here for inspiration.